there's some real opportunities, I think, that as we think through this, of how important this is, again, to national security. We have, for now, relatively stable oil prices and low volatility, but given what all that's going on in the world, you know that that could change really rapidly. The global oil market and America's dependence on a single fuel source make our country vulnerable to events beyond our shores. You all know that. And the fact that every time something happens, every major recession we've had in this country has been right behind a spike in oil prices. So we need to diversify, which again is what you all are all about. So the importance of this conference and your work cannot be overstated. Our country needs to support technological solutions that can end oil's monopoly over our transportation sector, thus improving our national security. And diversifying U.S. transportation will make our country more economically resilient. It will improve America's position diplomatically, and it will also improve dramatically our competitiveness. So I do, as U.S. Transcom Commander, I do know a bit about oil, and as Ann had mentioned, we moved our forces and all of the supplies around the world, and that, you know, about every 30 seconds we had an airplane landing or taking off somewhere around the world, and we had responsibilities for the resupply of the South Pole and a forward operating base in Afghanistan. We depended in many cases on our commercial partners, our U.S. flag fleet, both sea and air. And it was amazing to watch how you could bring that all together. And of course, all of that was dependent on oil. When I was the Joint Staff J4, the thing that what I watched in my daily brief every day was our reserves in Afghanistan. Did we have enough oil every day to make sure that we could fuel the fight? And it was something that, you know, whether it was the winter or whether somebody decided to cut that off, whether some country said, no, you're not coming through this border any longer, the ability to make sure that we had the flexibility to support General McChrystal and General Petraeus and General Allen and General Mattis, all of that hinged on the ability to make sure that we had a network of ways of making sure that we got them the fuel they needed. Again, it's that diversity. It's making sure you have options, that you're not dependent on one. You have lots of different ways of getting at that. And again, that's what this conference is all about. So the United States economy is dangerously dependent on oil. 92% of the U.S. transportation sector is powered by oil. And oil intensity of our economy remains unchanged over the last 2 years. Household expenditures on oil remain above $400 billion a year, and the average American household spent over $2,700 on gasoline in 2012, more than double than it was a decade ago. So the United States needs a transportation strategy. It needs to figure out how it can do that. And I would say that we need that balanced approach, drawing on new sources and new methods to achieve energy security. This means a comprehensive national plan for deploying alternative fuel technologies, such as electric vehicles, natural gas trucks, and more efficient traditional gasoline engines. And as we know, electrical vehicles are making a significant progress in the light-duty segment. Since 2011, over 247,000 plug-in vehicles have been sold in the U.S. About 34,000 plug-in vehicles were sold in the second quarter of this year, an increase of about 10,000 year over year. And when you think about technology, battery costs could drop to as low as $200 per kilowatt hour by as early as 2020, from $600 to $1,000 plus today. Because of an electrified transportation system is one that relies on a diverse set of fuels, not one fuel source or producer, we would be able to hold our transportation system and our economy. No one can do that. They wouldn't be able to hold that hostage the way a single nation can disrupt the flow of petroleum today. And other domestic fuels will play important roles as well, giving us flexibility and resilience. Shifting our truck cargo fleet to liquid natural gas. I mean, you talk about one that makes absolute sense. You know, cleaner, more efficient, abundance here in the U.S. Making our long-haul trucking cleaner and eliminate a significant part of our oil consumption, more than a fifth of our total oil use in transportation, if we could move that. If you thought of every city having to use electric cars, when I think about taking those trucks and making them liquid natural gas, just think about that by itself, what a difference that would make. So we should strengthen and expand our policies designed to promote R&D in these technologies, including policies that promote conservation and renewable energy. By employing a diverse array of different fuels, we will insulate ourselves from the unpredictable nature of the global oil market and its influence on our foreign policy and economy. Deploying our resources here and our technology abroad protects us and enables us to protect our allies. The U.S. is blessed with an enormous wealth of resources and the cutting-edge technology needed to access them. Sharing not only these resources but these technologies with our friends and allies will contribute to a more resilient energy market at the global scale, and quite frankly less reliant on OPEC in the Middle East, while building strong diplomatic relationships. Every time I think about what we could have said to Europe to say, this is how we will help you buffer the fact that you will be, we're going to ask you to put sanctions on Russia where you're getting the majority of your fuel. Just think of the difference that would have made. By supporting and deploying these fast-developing technologies, we could reduce oil and U.S. transportation to 50% by 2040. Pretty exciting. Distancing ourselves from dangerous situations in unstable parts of the world, saving American lives and strengthening our foreign policy options, and reducing military spending on maintaining oil infrastructure and safety. So they did a study to say, how much do we spend annually in our country on defense because of this dependence on oil, it's estimated at $83 billion a year. So it just gives you, this is big money. That's what we do. We understand that this is important to the economy, it's important to our way of life, and we know that our allies is the same way. And the instability that's causes us in many cases to, when I think about Saddam Hussein going into Kuwait, you know why he went in, and you know why we had to go and confront that. And so I just keep, that lesson goes over and over again, and obviously if we put ourselves in a position where we're not as vulnerable and we don't have to do that, it would make a huge difference. And we want to reward companies working to break our dependence. SAFE's Energy Security Prize is designed just to do just that. We're going to recognize some prize winners. That's not safe, but what I would tell you is that watching the competition for that and making sure that we constantly are rewarding the people that are making the breakthroughs is huge. Every year, the SAFE's Energy Security Prize celebrates select innovators that are driving fundamental improvements in American energy security with the goal of accelerating groundbreaking technologies that can significantly reduce U.S. oil dependence. First place winners receive $125,000 to further their work, as well as national recognition through SAFE's partnerships with CNBC and other media. Through SAFE's Energy Security Prize, we were able to encourage America's greatest innovators, our entrepreneurs, to develop the novel technologies necessary to move us into the future so that we're not as dependent on oil. So, in conclusion, I just say we can't control the price of oil or the events of the global oil market, but we can certainly influence them. And we can control how we power our economy and determine our country's energy security future. Part of that means capitalizing on the resources we have here, giving us the ability to step in on the global stage when we need to and where we need to, giving our allies a critical energy fallback point. We gain foreign policy options and open previously unavailable diplomatic routes. People in this room are essential to driving the national conversation employing these solutions. And I commend you for the work and for the daily contributions you make to diversifying our transportation sector, improving the security of our nation. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work ahead, and it's good for the country. It's good for the world. And it'll make us a safer place. When I think about this portion, I think about this group, and as I talk to almost everybody I talk to is so passionate about what they're doing. This is the kind of thing that changes the world. This kind of passion is what allows us to go to the future and do things that it's a win-win for everybody. And we just got to get everybody together and keep saying, having a national policy, a strategy, an energy strategy, and be able to say, here's all the parts of the puzzle, and it takes it all. Every bit that you do will make it better. You don't have to say it's this or this or this. You have to say, do it all. Everything that you do in this sector will make it better. The quality of life of our people, think about the difference it makes there. the national security, and you really think about friends and allies that look to us. And if we not only can provide that buffer to them, but also the technology, and be able to say, here's the kinds of stuff that will allow you to have the same capabilities that we have to make sure that we're becoming much more energy independent.